Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone, who rule very well, very beautifully. Double salutations to the Akimai who pushing this gospel in truth and in sincerity to the best of their ability, given to them by Yahweh Shemel Shai. Peace, blessings, and salutations be unto the elect scattered abroad. May the election of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Lord willing, fall upon our houses. This is Brother Quanah Watt. Come back at you, Lord will, with the edifying lesson to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem Shai, Lord will. It is edifying, Lord will. It is straight to the point. And hey, call Lord Yahweh Bahashem Shai, man. I'm looking up, man. I'm looking in the stars, man. I'm seeing two chariots, man. Call Lord Yahweh Bahashem Shai, zooming, man. You know, it's so small, man. It looked like the tip of a pen, man. You know, but they flying, man. You know, looking in the night sky. But hey, nonetheless, man. Hey, we're in that time, man. Time of Jacob's trouble, man. You know, we're in that time. You know, Jacob's trouble, is about to pop off literally at any moment, man. You know, Esau is about to come down, having great wrath and force his charagma, right? Any moment, man. You know, and I say that because I had seen this article right here on the peoplesvoice.tv. It says Australia launches WEF controlled mandatory digital IDs, man. Mandatory digital IDs, man. Right. So now they're coming out, right, with this technology, man. You know, which they've had it in the making, right? They've been, speaking on it, right? We a few years back we had ID 2020, and that was talked about. So really the past few years, right? They've been setting up this infrastructure, and now they're coming out with it, man, and forcing the masses, right? Here soon gonna be forcing the masses to go along, to get along, man. Otherwise, you're ultimately going to be killed, right? As it says and states in Revelation, the 13th chapter, which Lord will, we're going to grab, right? I'm going to read a little bit of this. I'm not going to read a lot. I'm going to read a little bit, and then, Lord will grab some precepts, right? It says the Australian government is planning to launch WEF-controlled digital IDs later this year, which will be mandatory for citizens who wish to participate fully in society. Again, and that right there, man, is Revelations 13. Revelations 13 and 16, man. Right, verse 17, where it says he causeth all, and that's a straight demon, man. he just stopped and stared at me and was basically like in a threatening pose. Hey, that's Satan, man. But the word's gonna continue to come out, man. So hey, that's that right there, right? Is gonna be a fulfillment of Revelations 13, right, verse 16 and 17, man. It says, having first entered Parliament last year, the digital ID bill in Australia finished its final stage at the end of January, right? So the end of January, just a few weeks ago, man. It says gathering input from business and finance groups. The country's WEF-controlled government are currently setting up the infrastructure, with all the individual states, so it can be rolled out within a matter of months. And it could be sooner than that, right? It could be sooner than that. It could be in the next month. It could be in the next week or two, man. We're in that time, man. We are in that time. It says InfoWars reports an announcement from the Department of Finance revealed that the novel system would empower users to select their preferred digital ID provider for the accessibility of both government and private services. Right? It says private entities can apply for accreditation to provide digital ID services under the Trusted Digital ID framework, right? It says, which is the government's recognition framework. It says, as stated by an official spokesperson, the legislative step will set in motion the enlargement of the Australian government digital ID system to encompass state, territory, and private sector organizations opting to participate. And we, every time something happens in, Europe or Australia, right, within a matter of, days, weeks, right, it ends up coming to America, man. So this is ultimately coming to, a neighborhood near you, right? This is something that's ultimately gonna, encompass the whole world, right? All the nations are going to get on board with this, man. You know, it says the National Digital ID will essentially serve as a comprehensive version of MyGov ID that Australians currently utilize for the Australian Taxation Office, right? Centrelink and Medicare Access. The strategy to retain other digital IDs issued by other state governments, right? It says an individual user will have the capability to create a multi-point image on a device to be validated against their passport photo or eventually their driver's license, right? So they're going to replace all those, right? It's going to ultimately be, again, a digital ID, which in a sense, right, they already have them, man, right? They already have digital IDs. And actually, I have one. I think I have one, you know, for right here, right in the center, right? It says AZ Mobile ID, right? AZ Mobile ID. So they already have this technology, man, you know? They already have this technology. Now they're just going to move over to the digital ID permanently, man, right? And it's going to include, right, the rice grain, right? So that's how they're going to pull it up, right? You're not going to have, you know, your phone or, you know, anything like that, right? It's literally just going to be a little rice grain that's in your hand. Anytime they need to, you know, ultimately get your ID or identify who you are, they'll just wave a wand or something like that, right, over your hand, or you'll wave your hand over something, and it'll pull up all that information. Right, or as soon as they basically approach you, the information, right, is just kind of, you're like a walking, Wi-Fi or something like that, right? So it just kind of radiates off you. It can, you know, ping, you know, the person who's standing next to you, right, almost immediately. I don't know necessarily how it works. It's kind of speculation at this point, but, you know, it's not too far-fetched, man. You know, anybody that walks by you, kind of like the iPhone, man, you know, that if somebody, you know, walks up next to the iPhone, and well, guess what? It'll swipe all their information. That's basically, you know, how that can happen, you know? It says officials state that users need only establish their credentials once, right? And then we'll read this last paragraph and grab some presets, right? It says digital IDs often involve the collection and storage of personal data, including biometric information such as fingerprints or facial recognition data, right? And this, you know, this is going to include your health records. It's going to include literally everything, right? Your banking, right? Because again, everything's going digital, right? This is all part of, you know, the plan, right? This is all part of, you know, Esau Edom's, you know, NWO, man. You know, it says this concentration of sensitive data can be tempting, can be a tempting target for hackers and cyber criminals. A successful breach could lead to identity theft, fraud, or even blackmail, right? It says, moreover, there is the risk of unauthorized surveillance and tracking, which is exactly what they want, right? This is exactly what Esau Edom wants, right? It says governments or other entities could potentially misuse digital ID systems to monitor individuals without their consent, infringing on personal freedoms and privacies, which we never had in the first place, right? Because again, it's all about control, you know? So let's grab this real quick. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 4, it says, who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, right? So Esau wants to be the Most High, right? He wants to be in control of everything at all times, right? And this is why, right, I mentioned that, you know, governments could ultimately misuse, you know, that the digital ID system, right, by tracking and tracing, you know, people, man, right? Those who have taken, right, or using the digital ID system, man, you know, and it doesn't stop there, right? So if Esau Edom, right, doesn't like what you're doing, right, he can ultimately turn, you know, your device off, right, preventing you from being able to, you know, buy and sell, right, which will ultimately, you know, again, separate you from society, man, right? Which we see happen over in China, right? That social credit score, man. When you know your credit score is too low, well, guess what, man? Now you're excommunicated from society, right? You're not able to, I guess, add to, you know, society, right? You're ultimately removed, right? And again, that goes right into Revelations, the 13th chapter, right? And we're gonna jump up to verse 15. right? It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, right? So you don't want to do what you're told, right? You want to be rebellious. You want to go against the system. And well, guess what, man? Again, they're going to shut off your device because everything is that all roads lead to the MO to the TB, man, which is the little rice grain, right? The Charagma, man, RFID micro C-hip, right? That's the MO to the TB. This is why everything's going digital, right? So they're coming out with the digital IDs, right? Which is ultimately, and again, making it mandatory, right? Forcing everybody to participate in these digital IDs, right? But it's going to go further than that, right? It's going to go to where, okay, well, now you have the digital ID. Now you have to take this Charagma, right? Which is part of this so-called new system, right? Of banking, right? New financial system, because the old system is broken, right? Cash is obsolete, right? Which we're seeing a lot of countries, even a lot of cities, and stores here in America, right, are refusing cash now, man. So this is the time that we're in, right? We're in the time where if you don't have, the Charagma, right? If you don't have, all the digital components, again, beginning with the Charagma, you're going to be isolated, man. And eventually physically killed, man. Right? Verse 16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a MARK in their right hand or in their foreheads, man. So again, this is the time they're in, where he's going to force, right? You go into that word causeth, it goes into make, or to force, right? To force one to take this Charagma, which is what ultimately what this boils down to, man. It says, verse 17, right? It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the MARK, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So again, you're going to be excommunicated and or physically killed because you don't want to take, or you have not received the Charagma, right? And all the digital components connected to it, right? Again, your health records, your ID, your finances, right? All those things are going to be connected to the Charagma. So if you don't have those things, then they can't identify. If they can't identify you, then they're not going to be able to pay you. Then if you're not going to be able to get paid, you're not going to be able to buy no food, and which means you're going to starve and you're going to die, right? And it could be to a point where, Esau comes, kicks it in the doors, right, and forces, everybody to take it, and you be the one that doesn't take it. He might just dome you right then and there, man. Put a bullet in your head, a slug, man. We're in those times, man, right? And this is why we have to stay vigilant. This is why we have to, continue to trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, the Heavenly Father, right? Whose true name is Yahweh, which means he is or he to be, right? And his only beloved begotten son, right? Who the world ignorantly calls JC, right? His true name is Yahweh Shai, which means he delivers or he saves, man. That's who we got to call upon in these times, man. Because Esau ain't playing, man. He's coming out with articles like this. Hey, shit about to get real heavy here soon, man. Jacob's trouble is literally just around the corner. But I just want to, get that out. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab this too, man. Because, hey, at the end of the day, man, don't take the Charagma. Do not take the Charagma. Do not take the RFID micro C-hip. Do not take it. Do not take it, right? Revelations 14 and verse 9, because this is what's going to happen to you if you do. And there's no repenting from it, right? It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his MARK in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. There you go, man. Death and destruction to you if you take that Charagma, man. Do not take the Charagma at all. Do not take the RFID micro C-hip, man. That'll be that death to you, man. So with that, Lord Will was edifying. Lord Will, straight to the point. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rachak Wadash, double honors to the elder apostles, elder bishops, the great millstone. Until next time, I say shalom.